With the Bitcoin farm being nerfed and the Flea at 20, there is so much less money in circulation in Tarkov right now than in any wipe in the last few years. This has made the decisions we all have to make around looting far more difficult. With less money, things are simply worth less. And trying to decide if you should take the wires or the spark plugs is something everyone gets stuck with while raiding. This waiting to make decisions wastes time in the raid. It destroys your situational awareness and can get you killed. The fewer decisions you actually have to make in raid, the better off you are. The problem with this is that the Tarkov economy is dynamic, and there's always hidden gems. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to keep you up to date on those little gems, give you a few tips along the way, and provide a list of things you definitely shouldn't be picking up. I don't know how many times I've run into a room that's already been looted and found things like sodium, tea, syringes, all in either looted bags or sitting open. All three of these items are well worth their one slot, and they're used for crafting. So even if you get them in your secure container and you die, you'll be able to use them in craft items that further increase their value beyond what the trader pays. Sodium is used to craft bleach, and this is probably one of the most popular crafts in the hideout right now. Tea crafts a ton of things in the nutrition unit, task items like Wilston's, but also the barter items like hot rods and my personal favorite, the whiskey. What am I drinking? Dan Jack Eels. Syringes are used to craft 2 task items as well. Blood sets and morphines, which are required for a couple of tasks, and they can also be used in the medcase barter. Computers are another place that loot gets overlooked or left. Power supply units haven't been popular because they've been really cheap, but with everybody pushing their BTC farm, the price has been climbing regularly. We're seeing prices push 60K some days right now for power supply units, so even if you have to throw out a couple of duct tapes or other junk, definitely take these PSUs. This goes for CPU fans as well. We've seen the price pull back a little on these, but they are still worth over 20K a slot. And I'm hopeful for second spikes in both of these as a second round of players gets to the flea market and starts their Bitcoin farms by buying up all the materials. Also dependent on players getting the flea market is spark plugs. These are needed for the level 3 generator, and we've seen them push 20K the last few days. You'll find these in most tech spawns and filing cabinets. I did a loot video just for this item if you're looking for them, so make sure to check that out if you need them. And sticking with this theme of things that are needed for the hideout upgrade, other bigger items that folks constantly leave behind is the Shistrolo ceiling foam. For most of the wipe, these things aren't worth much, especially late wipe. You're going to see them tank in price, but right now we see them regularly over 40K, which makes them well worth their 3 slots. Now don't confuse these with the Xenomorph ceiling foam, which are also a 3 slot, kind of look the same. They're worth about half of the Shistrollos, and Ripley would probably be very upset with me if you bring an alien back into your hideout by mistake. To round out this list of overlooked items is ES lamps, or energy saving lamps. These guys are used in all sorts of things, and they have a handful of great barters like RGD grenades and tri-zips. But a boatload are also needed for the hideout upgrade for level 3 lighting. We've been seeing them push 14K, but because you can use them in some really good barters, they are well worth the secure container slot until you find something more valuable, because you can always get a tri-zip or a grenade out of these. So, to sum up this list, make sure you're keeping sodiums, tea, CPU fans, spark plugs, the energy saving lamps, power supply units, Shistrolo ceiling foams, not the xenomorphs, and syringes. A second list here, an honorable mention if you will, is some items that are borderline worth it and not worth it. With the changes to the economy, I've had to lower my standards a bit to make sure I'm getting bags full of loot, and these items are those runts if you will. They're like the food your parents used to make you eat as a kid and you plugged your nose so you didn't have to taste it. And just like that, I'll go through them quickly so I don't leave a bad taste in your mouth. We have LCDs, not the broken ones though, phase control relays, elite pliers, poxorams, blood sets, augmentin, and hunting matches. Some of these will eventually be bumped up into overlooked items as they get used more and more. Augmentin, hunting matches, poxorams, all of these are going to go into a more valuable state as we get further along the wipe. And poxorams are actually pretty good regardless. They're kind of like Brussels sprouts wrapped in bacon, if you will, because they sell great to a vendor. And sometimes they'll even push way higher into a much more valuable item when labs cards get more expensive and people want 50 round Glock magazines for their vectors. Now, outside of this list, there's a few easy items to remember for looting. Anything with the word military in its name is worth keeping, and often worth putting in your secure container. This also goes for filters, except for the gas mask filters, of course, but the rest of the filters are all worth quite a bit. Some take up more space than others, but they'll still pan out for good profit if you get out of raid with them. Also, with a few exceptions, anything with a purple background is well worth it. There are a few weapons parts and the hand drill that are purple backgrounds that aren't worth it, but just keep those in mind that don't loot those, and anything else purple is probably worth the slots it takes up. Now, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I'm always killing players with junk loot in their bags. So here's a list of things you shouldn't be picking up if your goal is to make money. Classic matches, pile of meds, nails, regular light bulbs, duct tape, insulating tape. None of these are worth your time to loot. Yet I kill guys with raid bags half full of this junk. Now, some of you will say, well, 3K is better than an empty slot. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. Straight up, it's not worth it. If you're 10 feet from extract and you know you're leaving right away, sure, maybe. Fill up your empty slots and go out then. But if you're early in the raid, you shouldn't be looting this stuff. The amount of time it takes to sort through this crap and throw it out when you find better stuff and play Tarkov Tetris is going to get you killed. You're going to be sitting over a cache or a body or some other crate looting it, trying to sort through stuff, and you're going to get headshot from somebody who's been watching you for 5 minutes, waiting for you to stand still so they can get their shooter born in heaven done. Looting destroys your situational awareness, but it's a necessary evil, but you want to minimize that. When you loot, you're going to alert a rat that's hiding in the room next to you exactly what you're doing. He's going to know what container you're in and how long you're going to be in it. And while that sound is ringing through your ears, he's going to walk up on you and shoot you because you were distracted from the fact you're still in a first-person shooter where everyone is kill on sight. So keep that in mind and don't waste your time looting junk. Now, as a nice bonus for those of you who hung around, we've got some goodies here that some of the newer players and older players alike don't often think of. The first is magazines and found and raid weapons. You know, if you find these in weapon crates or caches or whatever, and even some of the raiders and scavs have these. If you're finding MP9s, MP7s, 5.7s, Glock pistols, you should be taking the mags out of those and selling them separate from the guns. In some cases, like the MP7 and MP9, the mags are worth more than the gun itself. And these aren't the only mags. You know, 11 round 1911 mags, which you'll get on Gluhar frequently, and you'll just find them sitting around the map. And then the Archangel Mosin mags are awesome one-slot items that fetch a hefty price on the Flea. And other items I see people constantly leaving behind are weapons parts. My favorites being pistol grips and muzzle brakes. A few of these fetch more than any other items in the game as a one slot, and I've run into 40 and 50k weapon parts just sitting out in the open in areas that have been looted clean. Every bag, every toolbox, everything's been looted. Right here sitting a 40 or 50k pistol grip that just got run right by. So keep a sharp eye out. You know, pistol grips with 11 or more ergo and muzzle brakes that are used in tasks or the meta gun builds are going to fetch you a ton of money. Now, things change quick in Tarkov, so make sure you're always watching for a new video from me on updating these, and subscribe so you'll get an alert when I upload them, and you'll be the first to be able to take advantage of this stuff. Good luck with your looting, and we'll see you in Tarkov.